going to go well. It's going well. Hello, I am Pearl from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned in Tarot. And we are here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies inside of self, understanding that whatever state we find this energy, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our outside world, in our external environment, in our interactions with others. And if we want to see change, we have to shift and change the energy within inside of self. And that is what I'm trying to help you do each Monday that you come here for this collective tune in. Whether you're joining me on TikTok, which is why I'm sometimes looking over here, or YouTube, which is why I'm sometimes looking over here. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And I'm so glad my internet seems to be working and I don't have to be upset about it every day. Who likes that? I don't know. I think there's something cute about a redhead getting very upset about things. But that's just me. Anyways, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what I want you to keep in mind as you are listening to these readings. So a lot of readers will identify divine masculine energy and say they're not talking about gender, but then everybody is sort of understanding that they're talking about gender. Or if not gender, people who identify as masculine. But I'm here to correct this for my collective. When I talk about masculine, I truly am not talking about gender in any way, not in any way. You may be able to take people who identify in masculine energy very strongly and sort of generally identify them with that energy because they strongly identify with it themselves, but it is really not my fault that that's happened. It's just an energy. So what I am truly, truly reading is the energy that is within inside of you. If you feel that it's resonating, if you come and listen to it and you're like, that is exactly what my person is like, it's not because I'm reading for your person, because your person is not the divine masculine. I'm sorry. It's just not the way it is. Like, you are a person and they are a person, and you should never start thinking of yourself as a god. I don't think. I think that probably will be end up very badly for you in the end. There's never anything very good about forgetting that you're also human. Being anthropos is where it's at. That's where you are a human being and you acknowledge your humanness. And then you also have this divine energy within yourself that animates your humanness. So that's where I try to help you get to. So you definitely will be able to find things that are like just like your person, but that's because you, in your energy, which is attracted to my energy, you feel a lot of the ways I feel or think a lot of the ways I think. We grew up with the same movies, the same shows, the same music, the same bands. We had the like very similar trajectories in our lives. A lot of us faced traumas when we were younger. There's all these things that sort of put us in the situation where we attract emotionally unavailable people because we are. And it doesn't seem like we are because we're inside of ourselves and we can experience it, but we aren't very open and expressive about our truth very often. And so that's where we run into this issue where we attract similar energy. And when we can understand both sides of ourselves and the way we think and the way we feel, then we can understand more how others act the way they act and have more compassion. But our empathy can be honed in so that it's not just this force that drives us into really unfulfilling relationships where we're just empathetic and being abused by those people that we can't disengage from, but that we start with empathy for ourselves and where we are in our journey, and then we go from there. Wow, that was a beautiful speech. I don't usually give at the very beginning. Usually I shorten that up. Thank you for all the gifts I'm seeing. I appreciate that very much over here on the TikToks. I'm excited to be live again on YouTube. Thank you for having me, YouTube, live again. Finally working for me. I'm enjoying that. Hopefully the stream will be crisp. Bowie is restless today. She's wandering around. How you doing, Bowie? You need some support? It's going to be a while. You're going to have to lay down. All right, so let's get started. We are going to do the thing I do first, which I do at the beginning of most of my readings when I have a chance. It is Lionsgate Portal today. There's a lot of significant things about it. I'm sure you've heard on the TikTok or whatever about what's going on for Lionsgate, but just a very general thing. There's two numbers happening at the same time. 8 and 8. And that's always thrilling for us. We're like, wee, that's a big deal. So we're excited about the double numbers happening. That's one of the main things that I can say about this day. Another thing I can say about it is that it is in Leo season, which is the best season because Leos are the best. I don't know if you knew that, but yeah, it's okay. We're rare, so you don't have to deal with having too many of the best people in the world. But anyway, no, Leos are the best. The best season, of course, that would make 8 important too. I'm just being an asshole. That's what Leos do. But for really though, it is significant. It is a portal. It is known as a portal. It is an astrological event, and it is not just a one-day thing. It is as in all astrological events happening over some time, and the effects of it kind of last long after it's passed. Mostly, you're looking at a big release, and I think like new energy coming in is usually what they talk about. Like you've released a lot of your old stuff, and now you're starting to see the payoff of the things that you've been working on. This is like your harvest time, right? Where all the abundance is evident. So I am not an astrologer. I am just a humble tarot reader and esoteric expert on sacred texts and high priestess, but I have much more limited knowledge of astrology, and I don't like looking at astrology for its predictive elements, so I tend to just absorb what I can about it. But if you want more information, you can look it up. It's very interesting, and there are important things about Lionsgate. So that's that. Now, let's check and see. There is something that you think in your mind, and you are very smart, I know. We all are here. We're too smart. That's why we're here. We all have ADD and we can't concentrate because we're thinking so much. Thank you so much for the microphone. I love the little gold microphone. So what I want you to do right now, though, is use that brain and think about what you think would make you feel better right now than you do. And I want today to hone in and have it be about the connection that you're in. And this can be with yourself, with your partner, with somebody you're calling in, with your twin, with your parent, with a child, but just a connection, something that you need in terms of connecting with others. So what do you think would make you feel better right now? Just kind of hone in on that for a moment and think about it. You could flesh it out a little bit. You could even feel the excitement of it happening. That's a good thing to do. Okay, that is what I'm thinking about. I'm like, okay, that would be great. I would like that. Okay, that is what it's 10:33 on the clock as I open my eyes and see. I am thinking that is what you think that you need. Okay, your ego thinks if I have this, I will feel better. This is the best thing for me right now. Sometimes your ego is in tune with your heart and does know what it needs, and sometimes it doesn't. Let's see how close you are. This is what you actually need. I was pretty close, actually. I was really pretty close for myself. I like when that happens. Okay. So this is the Princess of Discs from the Thoth Tarot, or the Page of Discs, Page of Pentacles, also known as. It is a card about small steps, small gestures. It is a card about having a seed and knowing that it's going to grow in its abundance and kind of being willing to stick with it into its maturation. It can be seen as a proposal or an offer or an engagement, but it's usually considered much more small, something that's, like a small gesture, but it's also something of material substance. So this is not just a spiritual thing. This is not just an idea. It is something that physically would be happening in the real world. And it's about doing something one small step at a time as well. So doing whatever it is that you're doing in the physical, just taking it one step at a time and not feeling like there's anything wrong with that. Welcome. to the YouTube. I've like finally have some people can join me live for YouTube. Normally I'm not actually live because it's not working, but it is today. It is today because it's the 8-8 portal and everything is gonna go well now, right? Isn't that what that's supposed to mean? I don't know. Let's find out. Okay. So now I have to pick a side to start with. And normally it's easy because one side has revealed cards because I shuffle the headspace, and then if cards flip over, then I'm like, oh, that person wants to talk more, or that side of self rather wants to talk more than the other. Today, both of you had one position showing, but the Divine Feminine had 3 cards in that position, so I think she's got a lot on her mind, and I want to get it off her mind. So I'm going to flip over her cards right now, and we're going to talk about it. And here's how this is going to go. Just to reiterate, this is your feminine side of self and your person's feminine side of self. So if you want to know about your person's emotions and feelings and creative side of self, then you would listen to this just as much as you would for your own, because I know you're interested in your own energy, right? I know you care about how you think and feel, right? Right? You don't just listen to the masculine messages, right, feminines? Let's see it. Okay, top of the deck, overall headspace for the divine feminine energy. It's this beautiful tarot of mystical moments. King of Swords, who's really a queen though, girl. The divine feminine embodying the masculine energy of the King of Swords. That's kind of a difficult scenario, right? You have to do everything all yourself. This is something the divine feminine's thinking about, and she's thinking a lot. That's why she's going first, because she had 3 cards in the first position, so there's been a lot of stuff she's been dealing with in the past. 2 cards in the second position, so she's got a lot on her mind right now in the present moment. And then the overthinker, the King of Swords. Now, this is an upright feeling for me, an energy of positive, light-filled, like properly using the intellect. The way that I was like, oh damn, like what I thought would make me feel better was actually what would make me feel better. So there is this alignment I'm feeling coming from the feminine energy in her headspace. Now, if you look at the picture, she is using the stars to like accent her beautiful gown. Okay, so she's weaving her her image, herself, from this cosmic energy. And stars were associating with wishes. So like the things that she wishes, she's literally finding a way to weave who she is from what she's always desired, which is beautiful. Like, that's amazing. We love that. And she's thinking of herself this way. The other skill that the King of Swords has is that the King of Swords can detach from emotion, because you don't want somebody who has to make split-second decisions about life and death, like a surgeon or a commander of an army, to be so emotionally sensitive that they are incapable of making tough choices. You don't want, like, the King of Cups is indecisive because they feel so much. They don't want to make tough choices. They don't want to cause conflict. The King of Swords is like, I feel my feelings, and it is hard for me to feel them, but I know that my feelings cannot override something that is just or the truth, because the King of Swords is always in its integrity. Something that is needed, something that is called for. Now, this can be shadowy. You can have somebody who cuts their feelings and is just like, okay, I'm trying to create a perfect world, so I'm going to eliminate half the population so that there's more resources. Like, you don't want that to happen. You're like, no, let's think of other strategies where we're not murdering people. So, like, there can be a place where this gets to be like, not a good thing. But in this case, I feel like it's a good thing. There's enough detachment from the emotion that the divine feminine is able to properly strategize for herself instead of just being at the whim of her feelings all the time. Underlying all her thoughts and decisions, just in the back of her mind, is the Seven of Swords. And it is the feminine, and she's holding this egg to her chest. And so she's got a secret. She has some kind of a secret. She has something that she is keeping hidden. She doesn't really want to communicate about. And I have this feeling this is such a strange and surreal image. This deck, for the most part, it will have surreal elements in all of the pictures, but most of the humans remain human. And in this one, we're getting a serpentine quality. This feminine is literally snake-like. And I think that I'm not feeling a shadowy energy at all. When I look at this beautiful spread for her, honestly, I'm not feeling that there's shadow coming from this. So when that happens, I know that this is about strategy and planning, and about understanding there are certain things that you need to hold close to your chest. Like there are certain things that you don't share with everybody. There are certain feelings that you don't express with everybody, not because the feelings are unacceptable or like shameful or something like that, but because they're precious to you. It's like the difference between being a dark secret and like a precious thing that you don't want to anyone else to be able to take from you or spoil in any way. That's the feeling I'm getting from that. The first thing on her mind, which is what she's been dealing with, is separation with the Three of Swords, the Devil, which is giving me this obsession, fixation, karmic lesson, third party that's like perceiving some other energy that's between her and the masculine energy, and judgment, awakening. So this is a lot of stuff to think about, but the divine feminine is feeling or thinking about the separation, probably judging her own addictions, obsessions, her own third-party energy bullshit, her own fixation on the separation by constantly looking at the masculine and seeking, is he sad? Is he feeling something? Is he experiencing any grief? What is he feeling? What is he thinking? Right? So this awakening within her to an acknowledgement that her obsession and fixation on the continued separation was causing her to be in bondage in some way. And she has been liberated from this bondage through divine intervention. In definitely. The next thing on her mind is the Star and the Three of Cups. And so she's really hoping that there is going to now be this reunion and union. Remember the Trinity energy being three parts, one whole. And this isn't always just about a third party that's come between, although it can be, but it is not for me in this placement coming out with the Star. It can be revealing a third party energy. This is a collective reading, but I feel that for the majority of the let's call them the first wave divine feminines, for lack of a better term, but those that are in union with themselves, at peace, feeling that union is imminent, no longer focused on looking at the person in the 3D, focused, like laser focused on the self, pursuing your passions, receiving abundance from that. Like if you're in that first wave, then this is about really being hopeful that what you are seeing right now are the signs of union in this current moment. And the next thing on the feminine energy is the Knight of Cups. I'm open to receive it. And she's playing her heartstrings in this. And there is a lotus flower here. So there's so much enlightenment coming in what it means to be open to receive a loving connection. This is a gorgeous energy. I'm so loving this. Clarifying what we've been thinking about here, the Three of Swords, the Devil, and Judgment, is the Six of Cups, baby. This is all in the past. This is in the past. And look how she's looking at it. She's very peaceful. You know, she's not overly excited or giddy or blissful. She's not overly sad or she's just observing, because that's all you can do, is just observe what has happened, because there is no reason for it to be emotionally reactive, for you to be emotionally reactive to it any longer. You have to come to a place of peace with this energy from the past. You have to get to this serenity about it, understanding that it served its purpose because of this divine timeline. Look at all of this beautiful energy here of the current moment. It is time for your wishes to come true. It is time for your wishes to come true. This is what she thinks. The Wheel of Fortune. It's time. It's fortunate time. And then who do we see? But the Page of Pentacles, which literally is the theme for today. Divine Feminine, one step at a time, one small gesture at a time. But here we have the Divine Feminine ready to receive that proposal, that engagement, that offer of love, that commitment, some gesture of love, some opportunity to have the love that she has been asking for. Okay, that's just the headspace. Now let's get into the heart space. This is so the Four of Wands. This is what she's thinking about in this really positive way. The Four of Wands is that marriage, sacred union, stable, healthy foundation in relationships, celebration, stability in relationship is a big one. The Divine Feminine in her headspace is mastering stable relationships, learning how to do it, mastering it. It's a gorgeous energy. The niggling feeling she has is this High Priestess. And this is also coming in with that Seven of Swords energy, where I told you it feels like she's guarding the secret. What does the High Priestess do but guard the inner sanctum? So the union that Divine Feminine has achieved within is protected. She has the secret strategy for getting into that state, and she's protecting that. And she's protecting that, knowing she has that, knowing that there is nothing more profound than the connection she has with this divine masculine, and that it will come into that union. Two cards came out for the first placement, the Ace of Wands and the Nine of Wands. This is a deep desire for the healing of these wounds caused from separation, the Devil, and Judgment. So Divine Feminine is truly, truly seeking to release the wounds that have been inflicted from separation, to be completely healed, and that the masculine himself is completely healed from these wounds of separation. The Star and the Three of Cups is being clarified by the Tower. This is interesting because this is the Divine Feminine releasing something. So if there was third-party interference, it's the Divine Feminine releasing the effects of that interference, healing, and no longer holding onto anything that doesn't serve her. This is also shocking. When the Divine Feminine actually does come into union, I think it's going to be quite shocking to her. It's really going to throw everything. There's also movement indicated. Sometimes the Tower can indicate moving somewhere. Where she was blocked in love, we have the Divine Masculine in the Magician energy, and then we have this Five of Wands in the heart space. And I like how you've seen these two images pulling apart from each other, because this is how I usually describe when you want something but believe you can't have it, it's like saying, I want this and you're going in this direction, but I don't believe I can have it going in this direction. And so you can't get anything. And so Divine Feminine is realizing that her thoughts were blocking her ability to receive love. This is a very deep and profound revelation that she's having. And that separation is truly a thing of the past. She's no longer believing in this illusion of separation anymore. The Ten of Swords is here. That time is over. That's right under the Three of Swords too. So this pain, she's over it. Truly, truly over it. The Wheel of Fortune, clarified by the Strength card. It is time for this eternal connection that has been so strong that it has withstood all of these obstacles. Finally get control over the beastly parts, the ego, the fear, the anxiety, and offer the Ace of Cups. And offer that love, that small gesture of love, that new love, that beginning energy, the fresh energy. This could be a completely new person for some. To that, I'm going to say, I don't hate it. If you're just joining me, thank you for joining. Thank you so much. Doing a good job of keeping the replay of this collective messages available on Tuned in Tarot on YouTube. So please be sure to join me over there. It is streaming live over there right now. So if you want to watch it from the beginning, you can head to YouTube, scroll all the way back to the beginning and see the entire thing from the beginning. If you are wanting to do that, it's another benefit to me being able to finally record this live for both places. So thank you for joining. We're going to move now into the Divine Masculine side of self. Remember, that is self, not just a person. Your person may reflect this back to you. If you get these readings and you're like, wow, that doesn't sound like my person at all, that's a pretty good clue that you are focused on somebody that is either the opposite, meant to trigger your awareness of what your true masculine energy is like, or they're just not at all in alignment with you. Like they are not actually reflecting back to you. You might be like imagining that they are when they're not. Okay, everybody hydrate. Top of the deck, overall headspace for this Divine Masculine. Oh, just the Ace of Cups. It's fine. It's fine that we're starting out with union right away. It's fine. And also profound. So we have the Divine Masculine thinking. The first thing on the masculine mind right now is, my cup is filled up. I want to share my cup. I want to see another cup as filled up as mine. And I want to then join cups. I want to join cups. That's the very overall feeling on this, or thinking of the Divine Masculine. Now, however, in the back of the mind, the niggling thing that's bugging him is the Hanged Man energy and the vampire. We have the vampire here. Who's the vampire? Is it the masculine energy or the feminine energy? I think in this case, we're looking at the masculine energy. I think that the thing that's bothering him, the thing that he's worried about, is that the time he has suspended the connection for has drained it of its life. He is super worried about that. The first thing on his mind is, which is what he's been dealing with, that's how I look at that position, is the Strength card, which we already saw. That's right. Another repeat card. I think this is probably going to happen a lot, but this is the first thing. This is what he's been dealing with. So he's been dealing with his ego. You have to put your pride aside to come in and make an apology, to say you're sorry and to say you love somebody and that you shouldn't have done what you did, or, acted how you acted, or whatever. We saw in the TikTok reading this morning that the masculine energy was definitely feeling this way. And here it is again. So for sure, he has been dealing with his ego, dealing with getting control of his ego, shifting out of his fear and anxiety, and allowing his emotions to sort of gentle his fears he has in his mind. It's like, if you feel love, bro, why are you so afraid? Like, there's definitely that moment that's going on there. The next thing on his mind is the Two of Wands. Read it. And the Two of Wands is the card that is about asking for something and having to wait for it to happen. Hi, Lena. So good to see you over here on YouTube. I can finally stream live again. And so the masculine energy is thinking a lot about what he's asked for and had to wait for it. There's a boldness and a restlessness to this energy. There's a desire to just go towards what he wants and not have to wait to figure out how to get there. And that's his current energy right now. I also think he's thinking about his soulmate. He's thinking about that point when those two paths will cross. And then we're getting the 10 of Wands, and it is in reverse. So there is this reluctance to put a burden on the feminine energy. That's being clarified, so I'll have even more clarification for that feeling. But it's just not wanting to burden divine feminine any more than he already has on this journey. But also needing to unburden. Clarifying the Strength card in the headspace is the Justice card. So we've got a lot of major arcana energy for both sides of self. So this is a major time, a major energy coming in for Lionsgate. Much love to you too, Lena. Thank you. And I am doing well. Thank you very much. So this masculine energy has had to swallow his pride because of some kind of a legal judgment or some kind of karma that he's experienced. But it has taught him that he has really needed to get his ego in check, that not having his ego in check has really been very problematic for him. Clarifying this Two of Wands is the Three of Swords. So he is really wanting to end the separation, and that is what he's desperately feeling that restlessness about. This journey has been very painful. All the truths that have been realized, all of the enmeshments that he has, the entanglements that he has, it's been very painful, very difficult. The potential of losing his twin or losing his counterpart, losing his person, it's the most painful thought to him. And there's the divine feminine I was talking about that he didn't want to burden. This divine feminine in this Mother of Wands energy. Now, there is two potential meanings here. I usually see the Mother of Wands as the divine feminine energy because it is the spiritual element of the wand. But it can also be this is also, of course, that fiery Leo energy, all the Strength card, all the Lionsgate. Also interesting that we've got Lionsgate today and these decks coming out with the Strength card all over the place. But I can also see that this Mother of Wands energy could be a mother of his children or his mother, or like somebody who's prone to anger or rage or doesn't have control of her temper. And so there could be this reluctance to burden the divine feminine with this individual in her life. But there's also Sagittarius energy from this card as well. But it's upright, so I feel that it is really just more that he doesn't want to burden his divine feminine at all. with anything. Just like, okay, well, good luck with that. And I guess we'll see you in the next life, if that's how you're going to be thinking in this one. But like, whatever. It's you're learning, I guess. Top of the deck, overall heart space is this feeling of defeat. So we've got the Ace of Cups. It's full. We want to give it to the Divine Feminine. And yet my head is being tormented by these dark thoughts. And specifically this one, there's one voice in his ear. And I don't know who this is. It could just be a very dominant past person in his life, like a parent figure, mother figure, or whatever. But somebody that's very dominant. There are many dark thoughts, and they sort of are generated or proliferated by this one voice. And he seeks liberation from this. And the liberation from it is really surrendering to the love that he thinks he has found. But he's trying not to feel defeated by the dark thoughts. The positive part of the Five of Swords, though, is ultimately it is about a surrender. Surrendering to the love that he is thinking about. If you missed anything, don't worry. You can hop over to Tuned in Tarot YouTube, and it's streaming there live. You can literally scroll all the way back to the beginning and start again, or you can go to any part of the reading that's already been playing. And if you want to stay here on TikTok until the end, you'll be able to go back later and see it there. So however you like. I can also see the chat over on the YouTube as well, so I'm able to see comments over here as they appear as well. Although I don't see comments very well when I'm channeling. I apologize for that in general. Thank you for all the likes I'm noticing over here and all of the gifts. I do appreciate it. And Sinead, you're doing an amazing job of moderating right now, so thank you so much. There will be personal readings afterwards if I have energy left after this collective reading. The niggling feeling, the little feeling that's kind of just this little worry feeling, whatever, in the back of the heart space is the Nine of Cups, and that's clarifying the Hanged Man. So there has been this suspension of what the Divine Feminine wishes for, which is just to be joyful. Can we just please? Can we just please? Can we just? There's that, like, the masculine knows that's how the feminine feels because he feels that way. He feels like, I just want to open up and receive everything, all the abundance, and I want to have this too. This not having this and being in suspension with you is draining me, right? It's draining me. So I want that to end too. And there was also two cards that came out for the Divine Masculine, clarifying the Strength card. How did we achieve this strength, or what did we need to achieve the strength for? We're seeing the Two of Swords in reverse, which is weird because I don't have reversals in this deck, so that's significant. And the Hermit. So the Divine Feminine choosing to be by herself, I guess that taught the Divine Masculine a lesson. And the Divine Feminine did not do this to be salty or to be a bitch or to try to manipulate him. She just did it because she couldn't bear the pain anymore. And she had to protect herself from all the dark thoughts she was having while she was stuck in that standstill with him. And she just couldn't be in that energy anymore. So she had to gentle that beast. And it was not overly comfortable for the masculine energy to experience that. What does he ultimately want to be able to do? What has he been asking for? I want to be able to reciprocate. I want to be able to be generous. I don't want to breadcrumb like this anymore to the Divine Feminine. She's giving me so much. She's so open. And I'm just like, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be generous. I don't want to be patronizing in that energy either. I want to do this just out from my heart. I want her to let me do that as well. reason why the masculine is thinking he doesn't want to burden the feminine is because he's already feeling how he's burdened that feminine so many times by these missed opportunities. How he presented this fantasy of their life, the colors, all of the joy they would experience. And then each time that she has offered him anything, he has left her hanging, dejected. And so he's really reluctant to burden her again because he's done this so many times. And he worries that she will reject him now because of that feeling that she's had from him. And oh my God. Okay. So, and that's where we've been blocked. There's the Five of Wands. Okay, we saw the Five of Wands over here, blocking the Knight of Cups for the Divine Feminine. And now we have the Five of Wands blocking this Justice. And the Five of Wands also can be about cleaning up a mess, because you had this stable energy before. So there might have been a marriage, a Four of Wands marriage, a desire for something else arises. And now this Four of Wands has been destabilized because of that desire to go somewhere else or be with someone else or whatever. So I see this as the Justice element is sort of the cleaning up of the karmic mess that was made from this desire to go elsewhere. This Three of Swords is being, I shit you not, clarified by the fucking Strength card. I'm trying to grab them all so that we can just appreciate that on Lionsgate we got 3 Strength cards and the Queen of Wands, who's also usually has a lion in it, but didn't. She had a snake this time. Very interesting. Also, the snake-like quality with the Divine Feminine's thought of herself being snake-like here, this hiding of this transformative energy is very interesting coming up in both of those positions. But yeah, that's a lot of freaking Strength cards, man. So the separation has created this balance, the feminine and masculine energy imbalance. This eternal connection has withstood the painful separation. They still love each other. They still think about each other. They still want to be together. And there is this energy here too of the gentling of the wild side of self that constantly needed to stray to just appease the ego, like the big ego. And then clarifying this Mother of Wands card, we have the Five of Cups. Now, the Five of Cups has been a stalker card for me. I think it's come out in almost every reading for the last few days. It really won't quit. And the Five of Cups is about sadness and depression and pessimism, but also optimism. Keeping in mind that while you may have spilled cups, you have a full cup behind you, or usually two cups, but in this case it's only one, which is interesting. The other one, her foot is in. That's kind of an interesting way to depict this. But it's about, in this position, I think he's really concerned that the Divine Feminine's rejection, feelings of rejection, are going to have made her sad. Like that he doesn't want to burden her with these feelings anymore. He's almost even afraid to be optimistic. So for those of you that are just joining, this is a collective reading. I am about to start the most important part, though, which is the oracles. This is where the healing really takes place, because this is the advice for you for your week, the things that you should consider adding into your daily practice so that you can shift and change the energy in the reading if you want to have a better outcome than the one that you're currently thinking about. Because remember, you're seeing what you're currently thinking about. You hopped on this page because these are the things that have been in your mind, and I'm basically confirming your reality. If you want a different reality, you've got to think of different things. And the oracles part of the reading is the part where you can get the things you should think about to change the reality to the way that you want it to be. That's how I look at it. So we're going to start that right now. If you did not see the beginning of the reading and you would like to see it, You can, if you are on TikTok, hop over to Tuned In Tarot YouTube, scroll all the way back and watch it. If you're here on YouTube, you already know that. You can go ahead and do that to see the beginning of this reading. But I am now going to dig into the oracles. Let's start with the Divine Feminine side of self. What is she doing right now? I love to see it. Companion energy. This is loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness. And no more loss of personal identity. So Divine Feminine is hanging in there. She's tenacious. She's loyal. She's unselfish in her energy. This archetype is with her. She's able to tap into this very easily this week. And this is an energy that you want to maintain. Loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness. And you kind of have to define what that really means for you personally. There's a move coming, Divine Feminine. I feel it. Your guardian angel is here to support you with it. I'm personally having to move. By the way, if anyone has an apartment or a house would be great, with a yard in the country, somewhere in Massachusetts that I can rent for a reasonable amount of money, which I'm a single mom with a dog, and this is my job, so a reasonable amount of money would be a sweet deal. I really need a place before August 29th because my son is going back to school, and I'm seeking apartments right now, and it is bleak out there. So if you have a house that you want to rent to me, a cabin, I literally don't care. Something pretty with nature and something that my dog can run around. And I will be a very good tenant. I'm Italian and raised by perfectionists. So my house will be clean and tidy and I will be the best tenant for you. All right. So that's me needing an apartment. But yeah, there is moves. A lot of Divine Feminines are moving. They are relocating. They're going to new places. This can be about moving your body. I just saw the clock change from 11 to 11:12. So it's like that progress, that forward motion movement. This is just a confirmation. Your guardian angel is supporting you right now, telling you there is movement. It might seem like you're stuck, but you are not stuck. What you doing, Bowie? You moving around too? The mindset that you already have, but that you will want to cultivate or continue to feed or tend to this week is I create mindful moments throughout the day, reminding myself that I am love and miracles are natural. So for me, that's when you notice angel numbers, you notice coincidences, synchronicities. Make that your moment when you tune into this energy of that reminder, like rather than be like, oh, this is a sign that this specific thing is going to happen. Instead, come back to this mindset. I am love and miracles are natural. And that's all that those synchronicities mean. Take the specific meaning out of them. I used to have a client who was so obsessed with those angel numbers and she would be angry when she would see them and be like, I don't understand because I'm not coming back together with my person. And I kept trying to tell her, I'm like, it's not saying that you're coming back together with your person. Those numbers are showing you that you're on the right path or that you are connected. They're validating your connection to spirit. They are showing you that you have this internal clock where you have this ability to look when it is that time. Like it is about your sensitivity. It is about your divine nature. It is about how you are love and miracles are natural, right? Eventually she embraced that and now she has a really great relationship, not with that person that she was convinced that she should be with, who was not anywhere near as amazing as the person she's with now. So yeah, just release the idea that those synchronicities mean something specific that your ego wants them to mean, and embrace that they represent that miracles are natural and that's their purpose. Because if you can believe in miracles, then you can believe in things shifting and changing very quickly. New beginnings. Divine Feminine, you can't get more new beginnings than the Page of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups. New beginnings, new beginnings. And it can be very frightening. Very frightening. That's why the dog barks caution on the Fool card. Your animal spirit guidance today is Chameleon Spirit. Act as if. Let's actually read this card if I can actually find the books. Okay, here we go. Act as if. We have number 14, if that number is significant for anyone. Chameleon Spirit shares her gift with you today to prepare you for changes that will greatly benefit you. Outer conditions are changing, and you're required to come into harmony with them so you can co-create your greatest dream. Feeling sensitive? Good, because that will come in handy, enabling you to determine how best to adapt to your environment and the people in it, while at the same time maintaining your integrity and inner equilibrium. Even if you feel like you're in uncharted territory, Chameleon Spirit has complete faith in your ability to fit in and learn the lay of the land, adapting as necessary. This is a fortunate time to act as if and do as others do, until the new ways feel familiar and completely natural. Life is offering you a great lesson now. Adapting isn't about losing yourself, it's about learning how to dance with others. And that's very significant to me. I don't know about you. Okay, we are using one deck, two books today. It is called Seed and Sickle, and it comes with a Dawn card and a Dusk card. So I decided for the feminine, I would read the Dawn card, which is ironically about new beginnings. So I think that's interesting that I decided that. And for the masculine, I will read the Dusk card, which is about the body and the mind, which I felt was more applicable to masculine energy. So for the divine feminine, we are getting the Elder, number 3 in this deck. So this is a springtime energy, if that has significance to anybody. I'm going to read to you about the springtime energy and this card so that you have a sense of the suit that this card is from. Spring is the true beginning of our year, a time when the ground thaws and the first shoots of new growth begin to show. With the slowly lengthening days of warm sun and blue skies, it's the ideal time to set a new path for yourself. That may be a new project, a new hobby, or a big change in your life. Perhaps it's even time for a new outlook entirely after winter has held everything in stasis. Cards in the spring suit represent new beginnings, fresh starts, and the laying down of plans. They are transitional cards symbolizing the change from the dark, dormant months into a state of awakening and renewal. So the divine feminine is definitely in this new beginnings energy. Oh, this isn't number 4. This is 34. That's weird. Or did I say number 3? That's so weird. So it's not actually a springtime card, but I was called to read that springtime energy, which is bizarre. So then this might be fall, actually. Maybe you're going to experience a new beginning in the fall. Okay, well, that's coming right up. So annoyed. If you know me and you followed me for a while and you know that I used to really love this one reader, Meredithia, Crystals and Minerals, I stopped listening to her because she kept giving predictive energy of when things would happen. And I really didn't like that because I feel that once you hear those things, it does kind of get stuck in your mind. But everybody wants the timing. And I guess that's part of the journey. But she actually did. The reason that I stopped watching her is because back in the spring, she started talking about the fall. And I got extremely pissed off because I was like, okay, every fucking season, it's like, oh, in the next season, it's going to happen, or the 2 seasons from now. And I just can't deal with it anymore. I was really chafing at the energy of it. So I think it's very interesting that I just talked about the spring, which was the season that I was in, and that I was upset because it was talking about finally getting to know somebody in the fall. And I was thinking, great. So for me personally, when I was listening to that message and my ego was really involved, I was thinking, okay, great. So I'm going to have another birthday where my person doesn't give a fuck about me. Like, I'm so excited. Like, I remember being so in my ego and so upset. And it really did start to show me, though, that it's my thoughts about the situation that does create it, which is what kind of shifted me into this feeling of like, rather than incept about timing, you can shift, because now I would have to change my mind about that prediction in order for it to not have a hold over me. So I would have to like do the extra work of being like, it doesn't have to happen in the fall, it can happen right now. I would have to totally change that. And I didn't want to have to do that when I was doing my own personal work. So I took a lot of the divination in terms of timing out of my readings. Anyway, I just think it's interesting that we just had that synchronicity happen. And of course, you know, I am love and miracles are natural. Okay, the fall. The year is nearing completion and it's time to reap the rewards. The cycle of the seasons has seen us mature into adulthood. And although there's still some work to be done, now we are entering a period of abundance and prosperity and it's time to celebrate. Fall is also a season of change. With their annual toil ended, plants are scattering their seeds, retreating back underground, or starting to change color and lose their leaves. The days, too, are growing shorter, a source of melancholy for some, though an indication of the natural order of things. This is the time for preservation and reconnection, to focus on our homes rather than our fields, and to share stories of our year's experiences with our communities. So, that is the actual season of this card. So you may be looking at this new beginning happening as you're reaping these rewards in this fall energy. The Elder is a tree beloved by mischievous magic and inhabited by pixies and ghosts around the world. Stopping beneath it for too long may lull you into a long and gripping sleep. Drawing this card is a warning. You may soon be tempted to slow down and take things easier. But doing so may mean you miss some key opportunities. Whatever waits to lure you away from your goal, don't let it distract your focus. Ooh, that is a good message to take with you. That is the Elder Wand, the Elder message. And your theme for this week, Divine Feminine, is the thoughts that your Divine Masculine was having in the TikTok reading today. The Eight of Swords, interference. There is this decision, the Two of Swords, or the standstill or indecision that is blocking your ability to move on in the Six of Swords. There's something interfering with your ability to move away from where you are. You're stuck or trapped in the way that you are thinking. And you want to end that, whatever this is. If there's a decision you've been putting off, or you've been waiting for somebody to make a decision, it is that lack of decisiveness on your part that is causing you to keep yourself from moving on. If you're waiting for somebody to make a decision and they don't, that's a decision. Not making a choice is a choice. And it's your thinking that there's this infinite clock for this choice to take place that's not allowing this moment of recognition in yourself where you're like, oh, my person did make a choice. They chose to do nothing. They chose to do nothing, right? And I'm sitting here knowing they chose to do nothing and also doing nothing. So you really want to work on how that way of making decisions, waiting for someone else to make a decision, is interfering with your ability to move to this next shore that you really want to go to. Somebody just typed, damn, I feel you. Okay, so to the masculine energy we go. All right, we have for the masculine energy. In the light traits, I don't know how many feminines are going to feel good about this, but in the light traits of the eternal child. What are the light traits? Determination to remain young in body, mind, and spirit, and the ability to see things with fresh eyes. So you have to be like a child to enter into the kingdom of heaven. So it is good that the divine masculine energy is in this, or the divine masculine is in this energy. I do think that the ability to see things with fresh eyes is extremely important in this connection because it is the guilt and the regret that has consistently come between the two in order and has affected their ability to just move forward in the connection. So very nice. And being in the light attributes of that card means he's released the shadow, which is including an inability to grow up and be responsible and an extreme dependency on others for physical security. This is no longer part of this masculine's energy. His guardian angel is here to help him in terms of sweetness. Sometimes I get this card as a warning to some who may be using sweets as a way of nurturing yourself. And it's perfectly reasonable to nurture yourself, but too many sweets can be poisonous. So you can have too much of a good thing. So you might want to find a different way to nurture yourself. If you're having a sweet tooth, you do need some kind of nurturing, but you might just want to choose a different way of nurturing or choose a different type of sweetness to experience that sensation that you're seeking. On Sundays, I do readings on nourishment. So if you're somebody that has a history of different varying relationships with your food, you know, in and out of diets and mind and eating disordered behaviors, stuff like that, you might be interested in my lives on Sunday mornings at 8 o'clock or the 4 p.m. because I talk about nourishment all day on Sunday, spiritual nourishment. And we're going to go through the 10 principles of intuitive eating over the next 10 weeks. So if you're interested in that, that takes place on Sundays. But this is definitely needing to be supported, needing to be treated in a sweet way and treat others in a sweet way. And the deer energy, the deer spirit energy for me is usually about negotiating. Oh my God, it is his animal spirit. Shut up. I didn't even see that. We're not to that card yet, but there is a deer here. I was going to say it's about negotiating, as I recall from that deck, and there it is. So we'll get to the full spirit animal message of that deer, but that's very profound, and it is in both places. Holy shit. Okay, this is a mindset that the divine masculine needs to cultivate. He's not thinking like this right now, and he needs to. And that mindset is my capacity to tune into the energy of love gives me the words I need when I'm ready to speak up, the compassion I need when it's time to forgive, and the power I need when I am lost. Period. You must be tuned in, that's why we're called Tuned In Tarot, to the energy of love. And then you will have all the words you need when you're ready to speak up, all the compassion you need when it's time to forgive, and all the power you need when you are lost. So the divine masculine really needs to embody that mindset this week. All my birthday cake leftovers are coming out. That's right. Happy birthday, Meg. Bro, I finished my birthday cake the next day. But I had a Cheerio cream cheese pie. That's what I asked my mom for. Which now I'm not eating any dairy at all, and I don't even want to think about dairy or be in the same room with it. I had my fun 2 months of eating my mom's food, and I've been eating my autoimmune paleo protocol recipes from my new book that I got, which is perfect for me. And I feel so incredible. I'm wearing my jean shorts again, and I can move. I go down the stairs. I said to my mom yesterday, I was like, so just so you know, I don't have to go down the stairs one stair at a time now, because that was actually what was happening to me when I was eating all the things that I know that I have allergic reactions to. So if you want to reduce inflammation in your body, I highly recommend AIP protocol, even if you only do it for a short amount of time, 30 days or something. It just really, any swelling, any weird inflammation that's exacerbated by what you are eating, it goes away within a few days. I'm on day 7 or something, and I already feel so much better. So yeah, I feel you on those birthday cake leftovers, but thankfully mine are all gone. Hey, Divine Masculine, remember how you're supposed to tune into the energy of love? Well, you just better do that, because here it is again. And the Ace of Cups came out in this reading twice also. There is so much love in this connection. It's never about a lack of love. That's why when people are like, does my person love me? I'm always like, really? That's the question you're going to ask, because that's a given. It's not about that. It's not about love. I love so many things, but I don't have the belief in myself that I can do those things, or it's not about love, but there is a lot of love here. So that's a good thing. And my brother's alarms are going off, so we love that. Here's Deer Spirit, and look, we've got 4 and 4 up on the YouTube. Thank you. So we're definitely interested in hearing about Deer Spirit, because Deer Spirit already showed up in the sweetness card, and I started talking about it, and I said, oh, it's kind of about negotiation. So let's see what this card is, number 18, what it has to say. about this energy. It says, the time has come to be gentle. We talked a lot about gentling with that strength energy all over this. To be gentle and diplomatic when dealing with others. You might have found yourself in a situation where negotiations are necessary in order to reach your goal. Be mindful of the words you choose, but do not worry. Dear Spirit reminds you that you have the ability to be sure-footed and confident while showing humility and respect for others. You will find that your capacity for calm and grounded communication is heightened at this time. Follow the way of Dear Spirit and you will do well, gaining the respect of others and finding common ground that is pleasing to you. Remember that understanding others and their needs will be more powerful at this time than putting your own first. If you do that, you will be rewarded tenfold. So the Justice card came out for the masculine, and that Five of Wands energy. So he's got some stuff to deal with, and he's got to be gentle in dealing with it. And I actually, after this, I'm about to head into a change of custody once I move. That's the other reason why I'm moving to Massachusetts. That's why I'm looking for a place, because my son doesn't want to live with my ex-husband anymore because he's so very rigid. And after being apart during COVID and not being able to travel to see him, I just didn't want to be in that situation with him again. So I decided I would come back for his last 2 years of school and deal with my financially and emotionally abusive ex-husband in order to regain custody. And so there's a lot of gentle negotiating that I'm going to have to do to get through that myself. So that's definitely applying to me personally. So it's not always just about the person you're focused on. It's about you as well, and you want to find those points of intersection. For Divine Masculines, Seed and Sickle Oracle, we're getting the Cornflower, number 11. This is from the Dusk guidebook that we're going to pull this card, and this is actually a springtime card. So I already read what the spring is, the new beginnings. Very significant that the new beginning is over here on the masculine side. And it says the cornflower is remarkable for its beautiful blue petals, which create striking clusters of color against the green and yellow of agricultural fields. So perfectly bright are they, it is said parts of the sky once tumbled to the ground, forming these beautiful patches of blue in the grass. The cornflower reminds us that it is not a bad thing to be unique and stand out. What may seem out of place to some may be a source of great and unexpected beauty to others. I love that. All right, and the theme for the Divine Masculine is none other than the Queen of Wands. So it would seem that the Divine Masculine is needing to navigate the way he feels magnetically drawn and attracted and pulled towards that feminine energy, but also fears it and is intimidated by the fire, the passion, the snake energy, because he may have experienced this before. But the confidence and the boldness, he needs to tune into that and tap into that within himself. And he needs to be optimistic that the divine feminine is willing him to come to her. That is part of her manifestation, not that she is trying to keep him away or she is angry. And he also may have to navigate another feminine energy in his life that is very fiery and problematic. And he's having to be mindful of the negotiation with that energy in his life. So that is the Divine Masculine. And now we have reached the final oracle cards for the two masculine and feminine energy. This is the part where I give you all the announcements for this week. So the announcements are as follows. I shall return at 10 p.m. this evening to do personal readings for those who are interested. I'm feeling okay to do personal readings. So if you do want a personal reading over on TikTok, Pearl's Prayers is my TikTok. The link should be in the description box below if you're on YouTube. And that link below will also give you the link to my website where you can find how to become a member, how to book the Tell Me Everything spread if you want to get that spread or any other type of spread. You will find that I do pre-recorded readings for under $100. If you want to have a personal virtual reading with me, it is $111 an hour. there is a custom option. You can use that for a couple of things. You can select it if you don't know what reading you want, but you want to pick the time slot that you want, and you can say in the comments, I want this type of reading. Which reading should I get? I will advise you, and then I will charge you appropriately. So I won't charge you $111 for that reading. There is no charge when you book the custom reading. It literally just gives you a time slot. So you lock in your time slot as you negotiate whatever you need to for your reading. If you want a pre-recorded reading sent to you and you want to pay for it with Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App options, you can, of course, use that custom, or I'm sorry, PayPal is already there, but Venmo or Cash App, you can use the custom reading option for your reading. Let me think of anything else. Becoming a member, $3.33 a month. The perks include you are able to see the replays of the full-length Tell Me Everything readings on Thursdays and the Learn Tarot readings on Fridays. Those are pretty fun readings. Everybody loves the Tell Me Everything reading. $3.33 a month really does go to help support me. And I appreciate all of my members so much. There will be other benefits as we go. You'll see there's a placeholder for when I start my tour. Members will have different access on tour to be able to meet with me after the show. So that's kind of cool. There's going to be music that is not released yet that you will be able to hear if you are a member. So there's that as well. And that brings me to the most important part of my life, my music. I do music. I am Pearl from Pearl and the Prayers. And if you want to hear my music, you can go to all the links that are in my website that will take you there. Or you can just type in Pearl and the Prayers and look up the song It's Me, Babe on whatever streaming service you use. And that is moi. I produced that myself. I wrote it myself. And I'm continuing to work on that record. There is an EP that is going to be released. But I am incorporating more music over on my TikTok. So if you're interested in seeing that, head over there for that. We're doing good on time today. Usually we're at 2 hours already. So I'm kind of glad I kind of got through this a little faster today. In terms of the schedule, I usually post when I'm going live on TikTok on my TikTok page. If you click the live event that's listed, it shows you all of the live events that are coming up. So you can check that to see when I will be going live and what the theme will be. I do have different themes. On Sunday, it is Nourishing Tarot. On Wednesday, we are doing a twin flame class. We are studying Plutarch. That is supposed to be happening this Wednesday. I didn't feel good last Wednesday, so I postponed. But basically, I'll be doing the intro to the class this Wednesday. So I'll be telling you what it's about. I'll tell you what books that I'm planning on reading and what ones you might want to get for yourself to read. It is going to be about the sacred texts that are often referenced by twin flame readers, and I wanted to read them and talk about them and kind of pose the question of why was this even associated with twin flame, because sometimes it doesn't even make any sense. But I just like to be informed about things, and I think it's really cool to study old texts like that anyway. So if you're interested in joining me for that, that's going to be on Wednesday mornings at 8 o'clock, and the replay will be available on YouTube just like this reading that I do on Mondays. Thursdays is the Tell Me Everything spread. And an evening, usually 7 to 9, tarot and chill, or I might do a music one. I'm thinking about having musical guests who perform, and then I'll read their cards because I thought that would be kind of fun. You could hear some of my friends who are really incredible performers. And maybe I'll perform too, but I don't know yet. And then on Fridays, there's the Learn Tarot and Divine Tuning at 3 p.m. So that's going to be happening on Fridays at 3 now. It used to be at 1, it's now at 3 Eastern Standard. I think it's everything. Saturdays 11 to 9, 7 to 9. Sundays 8 in the morning, Nourishing. I already said that. Okay, great. We made the whole week. So that there's many opportunities to hang out with me, many different types of content that I'm working on. Finally have a way to incorporate all of my interests. So I'm excited to share it with those of you that are having interests intersect with me. And now I can finish the reading. Thank you for being spellbound there for a moment. Okay, we have, for some reason we have 2 archetypes. It should only be 1, but I got 2. The sad thing is the healer archetype is in reverse. So there's a little issue with this we have to come into alignment with. And that's coming out with the gambler upright. So there's risk taking that's going well, but then healer energy that's a little wonky. So right now you are failing to care for yourself to a certain extent. You might be caring more for others than yourself. You could also be taking advantage of those who need help in some circumstances. I hope that's not happening, but it says it on the card, so there might be some aspect of that happening. The light attributes are a passion to serve others by repairing the body, mind, and spirit, and the ability to help transform pain into healing. So you want to call in the light attributes of the healer energy and take care of yourself, really. I'm seeing I have a giant question. Okay, well, maybe I'll see that after. So, gambler, we've got a willingness to follow intuition even when others doubt you. Okay, that's a really positive thing for the twins to have right now, because there's nothing if there isn't doubt on the twin flame journey. So, following your intuition, even when others doubt you, is really important. And don't forget to take care of yourself. And you can only serve others by repairing your own body, mind, and spirit. So make sure that's your priority and you're not working too much to try to heal someone else on this journey. I get really turned off by the readers that are like, it's the feminine's job to heal the masculine. I'm like, will you fucking clarify what you just fucking said? Because what you just fucking said is the most archaic goddamn thing that you could possibly have said that is inaccurate, because there is no gendered individual's job to do something for another gendered individual. No, I reject that. That's not a thing for me, because it doesn't matter what your body parts are. It matters how you feel. If you feel like you're in a masculine energy, then you're in masculine energy today. If you feel like you're in feminine energy, then you're in feminine energy today. And it doesn't matter how you're expressing on the outside, externally. So when we learn that it's the feminine's job to heal, what we are learning is that it is the feminine energy. Why is it feminine energy's job? Because how do you heal? When you get a cut on your arm, you don't heal by staring at the cut and like doing gesture, like heal. I mean, I guess you could do this if you want to, but you don't have to. It's gonna heal because you're open to the power of the divine and the process that takes place in your body. You're in flow with the organic energy of the universe and of the earth. And that is a receptive, feminine healing energy. So in order to heal, you have to have feminine energy. If you, as a feminine identifying person, are doing healing for a masculine identifying person, you are actually enabling them to not learn how to heal themselves. And you are the problem, not the solution for that person. You are causing them to be dependent on you, and you are valuing yourself through that codependency by them being dependent on you for healing. One of the reasons that there's conflict in my household over me eating in a way that makes me feel and look better is that my mother isn't in charge of that process. It wasn't her idea, and she doesn't believe in the exact way of doing it. So since she's not creating the food that's healing me, her self, her personal worth is diminished, even though I don't have the expectation or the desire for her to feel that she has to prepare food for me. I love her whether she does that or not, but her own self-concept is affected by me being independent because it's suggesting that I don't need her, and she gets her value from being needed. And that is something that I have had to learn over the last 2 months, to try to identify where that conflict is with me and my mother. Now, that conflict is going to also be reflected back to me through the people I choose in my life. If they don't feel needed by me, there is a chance that they will feel worthless or rejected or invalidated, because I have had that dynamic with somebody I couldn't disengage from. So now I can see that my partner that I chose to be with is experiencing that same thing. That as I glow up, as I need that person less and less, they get more and more afraid of me, because it makes them feel smaller and smaller and smaller when they were getting all of their worthiness out of this fantasy that I needed this knight to come and save me. Now that I'm not the damsel, they don't know what to do, because that was where their value came from. but that isn't where their value came from. Their value came from them being authentically who they are, expressing who they are through the work that they do in the world, through the clothing that they choose, through the behaviors that they engage in, through their cleverness, through their being. Like, that is who I love. It's not like that person provided me with anything. And that is what is baffling to that masculine energy who has been taught they must provide. Thank you. I'm just reading. I'm finally catching up on these things. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for tapping the screen so hard. I do appreciate that. 11.8K likes is a lot of likes. Okay, that's pulling me back to the actual reading. There was a lot of information that needed to be said there in what I just went off in. But that, the shadow attributes of the healer energy. Yes, there can be this part where you feel if you're not needed to heal someone else, that your value goes down, and that is not true, and you have to embrace that. Here is your guardian, God. Love itself is here with you today, and that is the second time we saw love. It came out in the other cards that we had over here too. So love is all. It is all around you. It is literally holding you both up right now. It is pulling you together. It is keeping you together. When I lean on the faith of the universe, peace becomes real. This is a real thing. Just have faith that you are going where you want to go, and it is going to be great because you keep thinking about what you want and how great it's going to be. And that's just lean in to the faith that really does work, and you will start to be at peace. Lighten your load. The 10 of Wands again in reverse. The masculine energy reluctant to put down this burden. You cannot carry the world on your back. You are not responsible for that. That is not your job. You're meant to share your burden with others. You're meant to connect. We're supposed to be doing this together, not alone. If we were supposed to be alone, there'd only be one of us. We would come down, we would explore the whole planet. We'd be like, okay, that was boring. And then we'd leave. We're like, oh, there's some pretty things. But I got sick of it, and I didn't have anybody to talk to about it, right? Bobcat Spirit's protection message is coming up for the two of you right now. Life is a mystery, and you better get used to it. That's definitely a thing. And it's an 8 on 8-8. Of course it's an 8. Of course it is an 8. Bobcat Spirit tells you this is not a time to reveal your deepest, most cherished dreams and desires to others, but rather a time to be quiet and gentle with yourself as truths begin to emerge in your awareness. Self-protection is called for, so be discerning, selective, and even secretive, revealing no more than is necessary. People have a way of imposing their opinions on you, so pay attention to whom you surround yourself with at this time. Be watchful and check your own motives as well as those of others as you keep your secrets to yourself for now, rather than expose them to those who may potentially misunderstand your intentions or may not be supportive. Let your logical mind take a rest as you start to perceive the energy of your environment. Bobcat Spirit wants you to be stealthy and wise and keep your own counsel. Let yourself be a mystery yet to be revealed. This is a big one. Do not talk about these things with people who don't understand what you're talking about. Because when you do that, the doubts that you have, those people usually are from an old self-concept. So I'm even starting to embrace the non-player character things, where there's just people that are just literally there to teach you a lesson. They're there to be the doubt that you have, so that when you say it and they give you doubt, you are challenged in that moment to be like, but I think it's going to happen though. And it's like your moment to be able to see how much you really do believe that, or how much you are still projecting that you're not quite confident about it happening or not. I definitely think that there are certain people that it is safe to have these talks with, and you'll know who they are. They'll pop into your mind right away. Like I can tell this person anything, and they will absolutely be there for it. And not just in a way where they're always, like stroking my ego per se. Like I definitely would still want a person that would be like, I mean, okay, but what about this though? You know, I want them to keep me grounded, but I definitely would not be talking about the situation with my person with, I want to say 99.9% of my friends. There's like one person who I feel comfortable saying exactly what's going on with my person right now. I might say a little bit to a couple people, but nobody knows the full. And that's because if I said everything, my doubts would get reflected back to me so fast. So embrace that. Okay, so we have a dawn and a dusk card for the masculine and feminine energy. For the dusk card, we're getting ragwort. Number 36. I hear you. I hear you. Chloe, I hear you. I understand. You're going to have to wait, though. Lay down, please. Come here. Just lay down. We'll go downstairs in a little bit. She purposefully jangles her collar to get my attention, which I think is really cute and smart. Okay, let's see. No matter how far you walk, your footsteps are being tangled up in weeds, slowing you down and obscuring your path. These weeds are your regrets and guilty conscience, which you have been carrying for years without ever learning from them. You've been carrying it for years without ever learning from them. That's so powerful. Wallowing in negative feelings without ever seeking to redeem yourself may feel good in the moment, but eventually they will overcome you and engulf you entirely. Break free and learn to embrace and move on from these feelings. Amen. Do that. Okay. The Dawn card is Asphodel, number 30. And this says, the Miziri of Corsica carry wands of asphodel into the dream realm. They hunt the souls of locals in order to predict who will fall ill or die in the next year. Drawing this card is a sign that you too will have to make some big predictions soon. They will have important effects on your life, so don't make them lightly, but don't take forever either, or someone may end up making them for you. So predictions can be made from current energy, which means if you understand where you are now, you understand where you're going to go. And that is how I do my job. If somebody comes into me and is like, what's going to happen for me? It's not like I can see their future as like a TV screen and I see what's going to happen to them. It's like I can sense what's going to happen because I know where they are now. I can sense what's coming for them because it's clear what they're thinking and feeling in the moment. And what you're thinking and feeling in the moment is creating the next thing that's happening for you. The stuff that's happening right now, this was created by my past self-concept. And my past self-concept is starting to pick up the pace. It's starting to be better. Like my finances are starting to be great. I live in a beautiful space. I have the equipment I need. There is a desk in front of me. I'm going to have a new chair soon. My internet is working better. So I have been doing all of this thinking and feeling for the last 2 months that I've been living in this place. And really, if you want to go back 4 months consciously, using my affirmations and making a concerted effort to change and shift the reality around me. And if you've been watching me on YouTube for the last year or more, you've seen the transformation of all the different spaces that I've read from over the past year. From the apartment that I lived in, which I formed from a self-concept at one point in time when I was homeless. In Los Angeles, I lived in a downtown apartment. It was a complex environment. And I moved from there to a beautiful place in Pasadena. And while I was in Pasadena, I was getting to read from these beautiful gardens. Then I took a trip across the entire country to drive back to northern New York. Now I read from the space that was my childhood bedroom, but I've actually inhabited it in my adult form and put up my altar and transform the space to reflect me so that I can do these readings for you. Like I've literally created this space from the self-concept I was working on months ago when I first started to think about coming back to live at home while I transitioned into a home on the East Coast for my son. So predicting where you are is just knowing, or predicting where you're going is knowing where you are. So today's reading gave you a lot of information about where your current energy is like your masculine self and your feminine self. And if you're not clear exactly about it, go back and listen to certain parts of it again. You know, you've got an entire week to process all of these things. So listen to it again if you need to, but the information that you need to shift into the place, the mindset where you need to go, it's there for you. And the final card that's coming out of this thought, the tarot, is the Wild card. So this is a card that when I get that is, there is union imminent because there are these two mirrored shapes that are intersecting and centered at the same time. And so I do feel that there is an imminent union that's about to happen, but it takes place in this void of the unknown because it is a wild card. Anything is possible. How you shift and change your thoughts right now in this moment will shift and change the way that this wild card plays out for you. That is your theme this week, to understand that. So thank you so much for being here. I'm going to close down my YouTube live stream and hop back over to my TikTok to do personal readings for $22 or the When Will It Happen reading for $33. I'm not going to offer the Tell Me Everything today. I sometimes offer that, but it's not going to be, I can't do the full length Tell Me Everything today. But I'll be doing those other two styles of reading for the next 20 minutes. If you're interested in that, hop over to TikTok to join me. Otherwise, I will see you here on Wednesday for the Twin Flame class if you're interested in learning more about Plutarch. I will see you there. Thank you so much, everybody on YouTube. Bye.